Hello students, good morning everyone. So in our last class we have seen the variance of y bar st, that is for the stratified random sample we have find the variance, and I said that always the precision, that is the variance, depends on the sample size. So allocating the sample size is very important, and there are two types of allocations. First one is proportional allocation and the second is optimum allocation, which is also known as Neman optimum allocations. So in our last class we have finished the proportional allocation. What is proportional allocation? Whatever the sample fraction is there, if the sample fraction is constant in all the stratums, that is called a proportional allocation. So by using that Ni value, by using the proportional allocation condition, we will find the small Ni value, that is the sample size value. So that Ni value we will substitute in the variance of y bar st. So whatever the stratified random sample variance we got, in that variance formula we will substitute the proportional allocation conditions Ni value. So after that we will be getting the variance of y bar st under proportional allocation. So that first one allocation is completed. Next is the second one, that is Neman optimum allocation. So today we will see what is Neman optimum allocation, what is, how we will consider the Ni values. So coming to Neman optimum allocation, it can be called simply optimum allocation or also the Neman optimum allocations. So this allocation of sample size is dependent on some rules given by the statistician Neman. So these are dependent on the rules given by Neman. So this allocation is called Neman optimum allocations. So what are the rules we will be seeing now? So there are basically three rules. First one is minimize the sample size, minimize the variance, minimize the variance for fixed sample size n. For fixed sample size n. So minimizing the variance for the fixed sample size n means first we will fix our sample size. So n indicates the sample size, right? So first we will be fixing our sample size. So depending on that fixed sample size, we will try to minimize our error, minimize our variance. So that is the first condition, where minimizing the variance for the fixed sample size n. For the fixed sample size n. So that means that minimizing error, minimizing variance means it is maximizing the precision. So precision means decrease in the variance. Precision means when you get the good results that are called precisions. So whenever variance is less, then only we will get a good precision. So maximizing the precision for the fixed sample size n. So this can also be written as maximizing the precision for the fixed sample size n. So same condition can be written in two ways, that is minimizing variance or maximizing precision. Both are same. Next is second one, minimizing the variance, minimizing the variance for fixed total cost, for the fixed total cost C. So while investigating or while drawing the sample, whatever the cost we are getting, that is the total cost, it is denoted with C. So first we will fix our cost. Whatever the cost is there, that we will be fixing our cost, and depending on that cost we will be minimizing our variance. So that is the second rule, that is minimizing the variance for the fixed total cost C. So that is variance of y bar st is minimum for fixed total cost C. For fixed C. precision. So in the second case, first we will be fixing the cost, and depending on the cost, we will be minimizing our variance. So third one is reverse of that one, that we will minimize the cost for the desired precision. So first only we will assume what will be the maximum amount of variation we have to get. Precision means the maximum, the most maximum variance that should not be exceeded. Suppose I want the variance value as 0.8 only. It should not be more than that. So first I will be having some desired precision. That means my variance value will be fixed, and for that fixed variance we will be minimizing the total cost. So this is the three conditions given by the Neyman for the optimum allocations of the sample sizes. Now we will see what is cost function. So here we are using the concept of cost function, right? Total cost. So what is this cost function? Excuse me. So in stratified random sample, for collecting the information from different stratas, there will be some cost. We will be having some cost, right? We cannot find the information freely. Some cost will be there for collecting the information from the different stratas. So if I have, for suppose, three stratas. So I'm having three stratums, and I am collecting the information from three stratums differently. So if I consider the cost, the cost will be same for all the three stratums? No, because each stratum will be varying from one another. Similarly, the cost also varies from one stratum to another stratum. So that means if you have some rural areas and urban areas, so the cost of collecting the information from rural areas means there will not have much facilities also. So going to that areas also take a lot of traveling cost also includes. So comparatively, the cost of collecting the information from the rural areas will be more as compared to the cost of collecting the information from the urban areas. So if suppose let C be the overall, C be the cost function. Let C be the cost function. Then it is given as C equals to A plus summation I equals to 1 to K Ci Ni. So what is here Ci and Ni is? Ni is the sample size we know, and here Ci. Ci means it is the cost per unit in ith stratum. So you have total K stratas, right? So in the ith stratum, the cost per unit is given as Ci. So Ci is the cost per unit in the ith stratum, and Ni we know that the sample size for each stratum drawn by using simple random sampling without replacement. And what is A? A is the overhead cost. So whatever the overhead cost we are getting, that is the extra cost we are getting, that is called A, and the cost function is given as C equals to A plus summation I equals to 1 to K Ci into Ni. So this is the cost function. Now we will be seeing we have considered three rules, right? So depending on those rules, we will be finding the variance under the Neyman optimum allocation. Now we will see the theorems related to the variance under the Neyman optimum allocation. So our second theorem is, so variance of y bar St is minimum for fixed sample size. So we have considered the conditions under the Neyman allocation, right? From those, what is the first one? We have to minimize the variance for the fixed sample size n, that is by if Ni is proportional to capital Ni Si. So what is capital Ni? It is the ith stratum population, and Si is the ith stratum population mean square. Si square is the ith stratum mean square. So this is our second theorem. First theorem we have proven it in our last two classes, that is sample mean is unbiased estimate of a population mean. So this is our second theorem and it is very important theorem also. So now what we have to do, coming to the proof, we have to minimize. So what we have to minimize? We have to minimize the variance of y bar st. So what is variance of y bar st? Write down that formula, that is variance of y bar st equals to 1 by n square in summation I equals to 1 to k ni into capital Ni minus small ni into s square by ni. So what is small ni? Small ni is the random sample drawn from the ith stratum. Si square is the sample, population, that is stratum, mean square, and capital Ni is the stratum population size. So this is the variance of y bar st. Keep it as equation 1. So this with subject to the condition, that summation I equals to 1 to n, ni equals to n. So we know that summation of ni equals to n. So with subject to this condition, the variance of y bar st is given. Now we will prove that this variance of y bar st is minimum by using the Lagrangian function. So how we will be minimizing the Lagrangian function? Similarly, by using that Lagrangian function only, we are going to minimize this variance. Now coming to the next line, this is equivalent of minimizing the Lagrangian function. This is equivalent of minimizing the Lagrangian function. Here Lagrangian function is denoted with pi. So Lagrangian function for the variations in ni. So here are the different sample sizes, right? So that is the variations in ni. So and it is given as so Lagrangian function, it is denoted with pi. So pi equals to the variance value. So here variance of y bar st plus you will be getting lambda into summation I equals to 1 to k ni minus n. So this is the Lagrangian function, that is pi equals to variance of y bar st plus lambda into summation ni minus n. So here we will be considering this as it is. You may getting that summation I equals to 1 to k ni equals to nothing but n. So that we will not be substituting now. We will be substituting it later. So here what does lambda means? So where lambda is the Lagrangian multiplier. So lambda is called the Lagrangian multiplier. So always to show that it is minimum, what we will do? First we will differentiate it with respect to the ni. In the second differentiation we have to check whether it is greater than 0 or not. So if it satisfies the second differentiation, satisfies the condition that it is greater than 0, then we will say that this variance is the minimum variance. So always for finding the minimum variance, first we will find the first differentiation. So from that first differentiation, we will get one specified ni value. So that ni value we will be considering for the optimum allocation, and the second differentiation we will check whether it is greater than 0 or not. So first here what we have to do is to first consider the Lagrangian function, that is pi equals to variance of y bar st. So what is variance of y bar st value? Substitute that value, you will get 1 by n square summation I equals to 1 to k ni into ni minus small ni into si square by ni. So this variance of y bar st plus lambda into summation I equals to 1 to k ni minus n. So this is the Lagrangian function for the variance of y bar st. Now what I am doing is I am multiplying this ni, whatever it is in denominator, I am multiplying it inside so that I will get the pi value as pi equals to 1 by n square summation I equals to 1 to k ni into, so multiply this ni in 1 by ni inside, you will get capital Ni by small ni minus ni by ni is 1 into si square plus lambda into summation I equals to 1 to k ni minus n. So this is the Lagrangian function. So this is by using equation 1. So this one I have written equation 1. So by substituting equation 1 we got this value. So this is the pi value. So to minimize the variance, what we have to do to minimize? Differentiate. We have to differentiate this Lagrangian function. So what is Lagrangian function? That is pi. We have to differentiate pi with respect to. So here, which value we are going to find? We want the sample size value, that is ni. So we will differentiate with respect to ni and equate it to 0. Equate it to 0. So by differentiating this equation pi with respect to ni, we will be getting the ni value. Now we will see the differentiation with respect to, we will be doing only with respect to ni, that is the ith sample size. So here all the summation values, whatever the different summation values, that will be avoided or taken as 0. Only the ith term is taken. So while doing the differentiation, we will be not considering this summation value. So now dou pi by dou ni equals to 0 implies, so we have to differentiate it with respect to ni and equate it to 0. Now differentiate it. These are all constants, that is 1 by n square is constant, ni is also constant, and inside also you have one ni. So you get ni into this ni is constant, right? Ni is constant and 1 by n. So 1 by, with respect to ni only we are differentiating. 1 by x differentiation is minus 1 by x square. So this value can be written as minus 1 by ni square minus differentiation of 1 is 0 into the constant si square as is plus lambda into differentiation of ni is 1 minus 0. We will be avoiding the summation terms because we are differentiating only with respect to the ith sample size, that is ni. So now we will be getting, and this we have to equate to 0, right? So keep it as equal to 0. We will be getting as ni into ni is ni square by n square into, this is also denominator, that is ni square. You have minus, so you will get minus ni square by n square into small ni square into si square, right? So this can be written in the numerator itself, that is si square plus lambda equals to 0. So this is the value we got it for the first differentiation value. So this is the first differentiation value. Now if you send this negative terms to that side, they will become the positive terms, that is lambda equals to ni square into si square by capital N square into small ni square. So this is the first differentiation value So keep it as equation 3. So this is the equation 3 we got. Keep this one as equation 3 because we will be differentiating with respect to this equation only. Keep it as equation 3. Keep it as equation 4. Now what we do? We will be doing the second differentiation. Now we will see how we will be doing the second differentiation. So always your second differentiation should be greater than 0. Since we are finding the minimum value, always second differentiation should be greater than 0. Now we will check whether the second differentiation is greater than 0. So we will be doing second differentiation not by this, by using this equation. So this is equation 3. So I kept here equation 3, right? So this is the equation 3. This equation 3 we will be differentiating for the second time to get the value, the minimum value. Now we will see the second differentiation. So first, for this, whatever first differentiation value you have, write all the constants as it is. What you will get on the numerator, you will get minus ni square. So minus ni square by n square into you have si square also. So in the numerator only you have si square plus this into the value which we have to differentiate is 1 by ni square. So 1 by ni square can be written as ni power minus 2, right? So we are differentiating this one dou by dou ni of this term plus lambda. So this lambda is. Now we are considering the second differentiation. So this is the value of second differentiation, that is dou square pi by dou ni square equals to dou by dou ni into that. Now differentiate this one, you will be getting as, write down the constant as it is, minus ni square si square by n square into differentiation of x power n is n into x power n minus 1. So you get minus 2 into ni power minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3 plus lambda is a constant. So that will become 0. Now if you observe minus into minus, it is plus. So you will be getting as this value as 2 into ni square. So minus minus it will become positive. Ni square into si square by n square into this ni power minus 3. If it comes to denominator, it will become ni power cube. So if you observe this value, all are squares and ni is also sample size being a positive term, this will be obviously greater than 0. So now whatever the ni we got, that can be considered as the minimum value, that is that can be considered for minimizing the variance. So since the second differentiation is greater than 0, we can consider the whatever ni value for minimizing our variance. Now we will substitute this ni value. Now consider the value of ni in the equation 4. So in equation 4, what is the value of ni? Ni equals to capital Ni into capital Si by capital N into root lambda. So here what is root lambda? It is the Lagrangian multiplier, right? So we don't know the lambda value, hence we have to determine that lambda value. So we have to determine lambda. So for determining this lambda, we will be considering the summation over to both sides. So to determine, we have to determine this lambda by taking the summation over I equals to 1 to k on both sides. So by taking the summation of I equals to 1 to k on both sides, we will be getting the lambda value. Now if you observe summation I equals to 1 to k ni equals to summation I equals to 1 to k ni si by n into under root lambda. lambda, right? From equation to what is summation ni? Summation ni is nothing but n equals to this summation I equals to 1 to k ni si is as it is divided by n into under root lambda. So now under I want the value of only root lambda. So send this root lambda to this side. Since it is denominator, it will become numerator, and send n to this side. Since it is numerator, it will become denominator. So therefore, root lambda equals to that summation I equals to 1 to k ni si is as it is divided by capital N into small n. So this is the root lambda value which we have to substitute in this equation. Now substitute root lambda in ni formula. So whatever the ni formula we have, in that ni formula substitute root lambda, you will be getting ni equals to, write the denominator and numerator as it is, that is ni si by capital N as it is into what is the lambda value, root lambda value we are getting, summation I equals to 1 to k ni si by capital N into small n. So if you observe here, capital N and capital N gets cancelled. So ni equals to, this n is the denominator, for the denominator, so it will become the numerator. So n into ni into si by summation I equals to 1 to k capital Ni capital Si. So this is the required sample size, that is for the optimum allocation. So this is the Ni value for the optimum allocation in the stratified random sample we have to find for getting the precision, that is for minimizing the variance by using the Neyman allocation. So this is the sample size we need to select for the under the Neyman optimum allocation. First case, that is the fixed sample size Ni. So by using this Ni only, we are going to find the variance of y bar s. That means in proportional allocations we have substituted Ni value in the variance, right? So similarly like that, this Ni is also substituted in the variance formula to get the variance of y bar st, that is the precision.